The Nintendo Switch has games. Maybe too many games. How could we mention a fact like this without bringing up the calculator app? Seriously, that is a forgotten gem right there. But aside from that legendary title I have yet to play, there's plenty of other great games on Switch and franchises that are known for having great installments. Mario, Luigi, The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Smash Bros., even Mario Party. But there's still a few Nintendo franchises that have yet to make an appearance on Switch with their own games. But that brings up an interesting topic. With the Nintendo Switch having as many quality exclusives as it does, what other games would I like to see be made for the system if I had a say in it? That's what I want to discuss in today's video. 5 games as a matter of fact. Had to be specific there. And they can't be games that are already out or games we already know are happening like Metroid Dread or something like that. And also, 1 game per franchise or else this whole list will be Mario Odyssey 2, Mario Odyssey 3, and Mario Odyssey 4, you get the idea. And also, some franchises that only get 1 game per system like Smash Bros. Is not permitted. But anything else is fair game. So without further ado, let's begin. Could you imagine if Nintendo actually made Mario Odyssey its own series? Number 5. A sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. Listen, man, I love Super Mario Odyssey. It's my favorite of all the sandbox Mario games, and it's quite honestly the best 3D Mario can truly get, aside from Galaxy, of course. Which, for as good and successful as it is, there's always room for improvement, which a sequel can definitely do. New kingdoms like a haunted kingdom, a mechanical-styled kingdom, and also a kingdom that's randomized by season. Come on, that'd be awesome. Would go a long way in terms of variety. Maybe a new antagonist like an evil equivalent to Cappy that teams up with Bowser or something. And maybe a new plot like the evil duo wanting to take over the Mushroom Kingdom or something like that. I think there's a lot of potential for a sequel. Not just in terms of ideas, but also for improvements. The Power Moons were great collectibles and fun to collect, but I personally felt like too many of them were just obtained through ground pounding and not really doing much. It felt a bit too much like filler to me. Maybe more objective-based moons, and also more things to capture. I mean, you could capture a piece of meat in the original. We need more stuff like this. And more costumes. It might be hard to picture what other costumes Nintendo could come up with for their mustached mascot, but I'm sure it would still be a fun way to play dress-up regardless. But we just need a sequel to this game, honestly. Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out next year, and it would feel out of place without a sequel to Mario Odyssey to go with it. I mean, hell, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle of all games is getting a sequel. And if that game can get a sequel, so can Mario Odyssey. Number 4. A remake of Donkey Kong Game Boy. I mentioned this in the past, but I would love a sequel to Donkey Kong Game Boy, or as it should be called, Donkey Kong 94, similar to how Link's Awakening got remade. Update the visuals, sure. The same visuals as Link's Awakening's art style would look out of place for Donkey Kong, but just come up with an art style that not only looks good, but also captures the feeling of the original Game Boy game. Maybe add some more levels to the game, or maybe a new campaign with Donkey Kong Jr., even though the character is pretty forgotten nowadays. Add maybe a level maker or a multiplayer mode to the package, but don't you dare change the core gameplay and level design. The original still feels pretty modern by today's standards, which is not only impressive for a Game Boy game, but also impressive for a game from 1994. And while I would appreciate Nintendo remaking this Game Boy classic, I wouldn't appreciate it as much at a high price like $60 unless Nintendo pulls a Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury situation. But if Nintendo includes just the core game, a level maker, and a multiplayer mode and updated visuals, I think $40 would be pretty reasonable. Number 3. A new Star Fox. Can I just say Star Fox 64 is pretty great? The original is a decent time, but not something I can easily play nowadays. Surely I pissed off someone, but Star Fox 64, oh boy! I can play this game as much as I want and it'll still be a great time. But the latest game, Zero on Wii U, was basically just another Star Fox 64 when we were just clamoring for a full-on new game. Well, not me, of course, as I wasn't big into the franchise at the time. But Nintendo has the opportunity to make things right with the series and its fans by giving us a brand new game. New story, new characters, and just not being another Star Fox 64. You gotta draw the line at some point. Now in terms of new characters, I'll leave that up to Nintendo. But a new original Star Fox game on Switch that isn't just another Star Fox 64, I think Star Fox fans will be happy. And make sure the controls work. I feel like now Nintendo doesn't really have an excuse to make the controls not as good because of the whole no gamepad shtick of the Switch. But if Nintendo for some reason decides to implement those clunky as hell controls, which hopefully won't be the case, then just have standard controls as an option. Number 2. A Paper Mario Collection. Okay, look, I'm probably getting a bit too ahead of myself with this, but think about it. A Paper Mario Collection on Switch consisting of the first 3 Paper Mario games being the original on the N64, Thousand Year Door on GameCube, and Super on Wii. You're getting a crap ton of value with this package, and Nintendo could add some quality of life improvements to the package, like what they did with Skyward Sword HD, like fast-forwarding text, fixing Super's gimmicky motion controls in certain areas, and also just making the games look better. All 3 games look pretty damn good, to be honest, with their art styles, but I think making them look a bit more modern is the way to go. Though, to be honest, I kinda just expect Nintendo to do the bare minimum as they did with another certain 3-game collection. Hint, hint. Not sure why I hinted at Super Mario 3D All-Stars when clearly you all knew what I was talking about. But at least add a little bit of effort. These are games that has flaws. Not enough to not make them good, but you know, these games has some flaws that could be adjusted to make these the definitive versions of these games. And in terms of extra content, I won't tell you what I want. I'll tell you what I don't want. Another music player. Listen man, I love Mario music as much as the next guy, but we buy your products to play your damn games on, not to listen to your music on an oversized music player, Nintendo. Include a music player too, I guess, but have even more content on the side so it doesn't come off as underwhelming. That's the point I'm trying to make. Number 1. Something to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Nintendo 64. Just as a heads up, the Nintendo 64 in Japan in July. 2 months ago, it all adds up. But the system's North American release will be coming this month, and surely with an important date like this, Nintendo is bound to celebrate the North American 25th anniversary of the 64-bit console in a way no other company would do. And to be honest, while I am expecting Nintendo to do something, I'm not exactly sure what they're gonna do, to be honest. Maybe a collection of 3 of some of the system's best games, or maybe adding N64 games to Switch Online. There's a possibility of that, believe it or not. But no matter what it is, I just want Nintendo to acknowledge their older system's existence. Number 1. Wait, again? Okay, I lied. I'm actually making the list have 6 games. You're all probably pretty angry at me, but when you actually find out that my last most wanted Switch game is another collection consisting of the first 2 Banjo-Kazooie games from the N64, then you won't be angry anymore. Nintendo and Microsoft are both all buddy-buddy nowadays, and Microsoft even allowed the duo to join Smash Ultimate's roster. Surely this is a good sign for things to come. Oh, who am I kidding? It's been 2 years. And sure, Microsoft allowed some of their exclusives to come to the Switch, but not Banjo-Kazooie for whatever reason. I've only played the first game, and it's a great time. Definitely one of the better 3D platformers I've played. But if this collection ever gets released, then please add some quality of life improvements to the package, like tweaking those damn music notes in the original game, and maybe the visuals too. I heard how Tui has flaws too of its own, but I've never played that game. Did I just say that on camera? But fix the flaws that people has with that game too, and we'd have the definitive versions of these games, great platforming and all. And maybe include some bonus content like development insight or concept art. Junk like that would be cool to see, especially for games like these. And those are 6 games that I want Nintendo to release on Switch. Yes, some of them aren't completely original games, but these are just what I want, okay? Nintendo could announce maybe 2 things out of this whole list, or if they want to make me happy, then announce them all. I'm welcome to that. But while I just talked about my most wanted games on Switch, feel free to tell me in the comments what games you want Nintendo to announce. They don't have to be Nintendo Switch games or Nintendo exclusive games, they could be any games. But yeah, feel free to tell me in the comments below. But even if Nintendo does every single one of these without the Nintendo 64 one, the least they could do is acknowledge the Nintendo 64's existence in some way. The GBA got a notice from Nintendo, and if that system can get attention from Nintendo in the year 2021, so can the Nintendo 64. Hashtag more of the 64. If that even makes sense. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos on my channel where you'll find more videos like this one. And I'll see you next time.